Oh, we are live. Good evening. Saturday, August 15th. We're in Springfield, Missouri. Temperature is about 91 degrees. It's 81 degrees. We've had a pretty good day today, kinda. Depends. Let's get you going on the second phone. And that way I can read the comments without squinting my ugly face to the camera there. And we'll talk about a few things because I want to kind of give you guys something that happened to me Friday afternoon. And RD, we'll get to that, man. We will get to that. You know, some people in here, you know, show appreciation, give the thumbs up. Let's get the video out there because sometimes these weekend lives I don't have anything to talk about, but today we do because there's something I had to go through on Friday that I'm pretty sure that if you're a truck driver, you've gone through the same thing, and we're going to talk about success and what it means to you. Okay, so we'll get the show on the road. We got 25 people in here. Let's get a few. Yep, we got a beer in the hand. Doesn't want to stay because I dropped it. So, anyways, shut down at home in Florida, says Kimberly. I almost went to Florida, and that's part of my story. It's part of my story because I was being a little whiny butt, right? I was. You know, we'll talk about it, okay? You know, we can watch and play videos about how to be successful, how to do your math, whether you use credit cards, whether you use cash, you know, tracking your numbers, you know, whether it's per mile, per day, per week, whatever. Whether you should get your own authority, whether you should lease on with somebody, whether you should, you know, what company should you work for, what kind of truck, you know, we could talk about that all day long. But the one thing that a lot of people don't talk to and is emotional strength, because this job, whether you're a day cab driver or over the road, gone for a month at a time, coast to coast driver, it takes a certain amount of emotional strength. You know, if you know, I as a trainer, I watch many boys become men with this job because it will put a stress on your social life. It will put a stress on your relationships. It'll put a stress on your relationships with your kids, with your wife or husband. To have different levels of a strong foundation. You know, if your spouse is truly a partner, you work through this together. You know, and so the key to happiness in trucking, I believe, is finding balance. Spectre touched on it a few nights ago about balance, okay? And one of the things that I enjoyed about being an owner-operator at Schneider was that I was able to, and I'll get to the comments here, I don't want to be 20 minutes behind like some of these other YouTubers. Yep, shots fired. You know, almost have to sneeze. What was I saying?
Shots fired, I don't know.
You're not paying attention. So, anyways, finding that balance is important. Huh? Support. Yeah, a foundation. Like, if it wasn't for this beautiful woman right here, this job might have been a lot harder, right? if it wasn't for the understanding of my kids, this job would have been a lot harder. Now, on the other side of that, though, I built my company driver foundation on a company that got me home every other weekend. If they needed me to work a third weekend, I was willing to do it, but a lot of times they got me home every weekend. And I've created my business foundation to be able to work like that as an owner-operator. That's why I don't go out and buy a brand new W9. That's why I don't have the latest, greatest, newest truck. That's why I don't go out and buy a new pickup. That's why I don't go out and buy a new motorcycle or anything like that, because, and I want to keep my business costs down as much as I can. And so if I fail at this, or if I decide to do something different, I'm not trying to sell a $120,000 truck. I'm only trying to sell a $15,000 truck. Now, in return for that, the stress is that I use a truck, it's going to break down, it's going to have issues, but I have a foundation to be able to pay for that. And there are times when I can run harder and make more money, and there are times when I can run less and enjoy my home time. And that gives me the balance that a lot of drivers are trying to search for. That is the key. Now, how you get there is completely dependent on you. What are your weaknesses? What are your strengths? How do you build off that? I know a lot of people in my circle that have done a lot of job hopping, both as company drivers and as owner operators. And there's nothing wrong with that, in the sense that I get it, you're trying to find something. But most of the time, if you're hopping from job to job to job to job, this trucking company, if you've been to like 5 different trucking companies in the last 2 years, there's a possible chance that you're having trouble finding that balance and that you don't like trucking. That's all there is to it. But as an owner operator, I knew that I didn't want to have the financial stress of a brand new truck. I didn't want the repossession of the truck to cause a bankruptcy where I'd have to give my home, because that's happened to a friend of mine. And I didn't want to be a slave to the truck, but I also wanted an easy out if needed. And that's why people lease. People are like, oh, you're a lease operator, you're not a true owner operator. No, but you're still a business owner, right? It's the same thing, that don't put a whole lot into titles, right? If when I left Schneider to go to Like Trucking, I did it because of opportunity, not because the spot market was awesome and I can make way more money. That was a side benefit, but it was all about freedom. It was all about having the next level of freedom and the next level closest to getting my authority as I could possibly do at the time. And that opportunity is still there to get my own authority. And I'm learning from the best people how to do that if I wanted to go that direction. Right now, I've put a hold on that. So, but the point is I got a lot of freedom. I mean, don't get me wrong. See, that's the thing. People mistake freedom for not working. That's not true. There are times when that truck right there is going to ask for a lot of money, and I'm going to have to work to get that money. I can't just net $2,000 a week and then get a major repair and then wonder why I can't pay on my credit card, or the bank account's getting too low, or if I have an accident or something and I'm out for a month, when I busted my leg, how am I going to handle that? And so I have backup plan upon backup plan upon backup plan. And in today's world, with the unrest and the virus and everything, there's a lot of uncertainty. So I've been trying to make as much money as I can. However, this is where emotional strength has to come in. If you can't stabilize yourself mentally, you're going to make bad decisions. If you run your business off of an emotion, it's going to get ugly. Arrogance, ego, depression, anger, it all play roles in your business. If you're arrogant, someone could try to teach you, and you're whatever. If you're not willing to learn. If you got an ego, that's like a step above arrogance. So probably hand in hand. But if you got an ego, then you're probably better than you think you are, and you may not be as good a business person as you thought. If you're angry, well, what angers you? Well, being at grocery warehouses anger me. Well, I put myself in a situation where I could choose whether or not I want to go into a certain grocery warehouse. So, and if I do, I have control of the money. I can sit there and say I demand attention. I chose to do this, or I do it with a broker that's really good about paying attention. Or, I ask for a higher rate knowing that it's going to be a pain in the butt, but I'm willing to do that work for a pain in the butt. The way to make money is to do the things that other people don't want to do. That's the easiest way to make money. And having an emotional strength is going to keep you focused and keep you progressing forward. I'm going to read some comments, do some shout outs, and then we'll get to the next story of why I'm at home and I'm not running. Okay? So, Don Schunger, Rick N, Q, GNC family, Chucky, what's up? RD, Jason Perry, Scott, Light Bright's in the house, Nittany Line, greetings from an undisclosed beach in Florida. Other trucker James Best, Marty. Now, I'm sorry that my live feed's not going to be as exciting as Mr. Best, but I'll do what I can. You're welcome. All right. So, Kimberly Wall, Grafton, Brian Love Jr., eating just sitting at the Petro in Dodge City, Alabama, doing a 34. I like that Petro, man. If that is that the big one? That's a big one, right? I think there was literally a house there. There was a trailer mobile home there last time I was there. Thor and Thunder Trucking, good to see you. Cascade Transport, good to see you. Ratman Roden, heard of Pop Top. Shut down at home in Florida. Everybody's in Florida. Tell lovely Mrs. hello. Artie says hello.
Hi.
Johnny Sacco, shoot some guns. Johnny, that's one of my goals this weekend. Since ammo's kind of short, probably going to take the 22 out. Oh, and I got my laser Strikeman dry fire thing. I'm going to do a video about that. So, it's going to be good. You got to have support sometimes. Absolutely. Firebird, hello. Pale Rider TV. Bought another Ruger 44 Magnum 4-inch barrel. God, that's a gun. That's a cannon, right? Nothing Witty's in the house. Kimberly Wall. I already said you. Shadow Wolf. 15 seconds. So, Knob Creek sales are down 90%. Tito's vodka went up. Balance is good, absolutely. Let's see, we'll skip over a few comments. I never get to my home hardly for some reason. I wonder why. Stuart McCorkindale just hit 19 years where you're at. Awesome, Stuart. I've only worked for one company as a company driver, and if my owner-operator rights were ripped away, they would be the first place I would go to. Absolutely. Or if I wanted to get off the road, they would be, I wouldn't mind being a dispatcher for them, or something, Denise White, what's up? 44 Magnum is about 40 cents to make. Can't beat it. Yeah, you're making your own. Have you been able to find the splash for that? Because I've heard that's getting, let's see. Let's skip through these comments. Norman Beck, good evening from the UP of Michigan. Wow. I had a friend of mine that lived up there for a while. We might be able to make a deal on what's something Sunday. We can talk. The taco. Okay, we're talking about guns and credit cards. Okay, so why am I at home? So with the rates as being the way they are, it's been kind of named price, right? And what I've found, and I really pay attention to the trends. And I noticed that the brokers were starting to fight back just a little bit, right? And so there was a load going, and so I emptied out. I delivered 2 loads Thursday. I delivered early in the morning, well, late morning for early morning delivery. I got about 3 hours of detention for that. And then literally went 5 miles down the road, picked up a load that delivered straight through Thursday night. So that, money-wise, that was a good day, right? So I ran out of hours. I PC'd to the nearest truck stop, and now I had a fresh clock for Friday morning. So I thought, man, if I can really wait until 9, 10, 11 o'clock, I can probably get a really good weekend rate. And I'm looking for big money, right? And because I deserve it, the rates are really high. We had a guy that literally got $4,000 from Arkansas to Florida. So man, I should be able to get at least 3, right? And so I looked the load board. There was over 700 loads within a 150-mile radius. So I cut down the radius. There was over 450 loads in the area. So that narrowed down things. Of course, I'm not going up into Chicago. So now with Friday delivery, Friday freight with Monday delivery, you don't want the 300 or 400-mile load that doesn't go through the house that delivers Monday. So that eliminated a lot of the loads. So I'm looking at Florida, or I'm looking at Northern Ohio, or I'm looking at I even considered a load that was going to PA. And my click and goes didn't have anything. They didn't have their normal stuff, so that kind of threw me off a little bit. And then so I went to one of my usual people that used to be one of my usual people, and they had a load going from Springfield to Jacksonville, Florida. Jacksonville's not too. I've done this load before, easy breezy, and I'm thinking, all right, let's do this. So I asked for exactly $3 a mile. Okay, so that came out to $28.80, and so I asked for $28.80, and I was going to go down to $28, but I was holding firm. So the appointment was at 1. So I'm bartering with my broker on Google Hangouts. And that's something that you guys can do. If you don't like making phone calls, email and Google Hangouts and texting is a great way to avoid phone calls. And it's not that I avoid phone calls, it's that I can work different platforms at the same time. I can only talk to one person at a time on the phone, but if I'm Google Hangout with this broker and then looking at the click and goes and then emailing 2 other brokers that have freight in the area, I'm looking at all these different things. There's a lot of wheels in motion. And next week I'm going to do some videos of my process of when I book a load, trying to book a load, when I do my cold calls and all that. So those are coming. Trust me. I've been talking about it to some of our newer guys here at Truck, and they're coming, right? Not that my way is the right way, but I'll just, I've kind of streamlined it a little bit. And again, it keeps my stress level low on how I do it. He comes in at 21. I'm just like, no. Not for a weekend load. Not when I'm at home with a fresh clock. And I was not in the mood. I was starting to get out of the mood of being in the truck. I'd had a pretty good week. Met my quota for myself. And so it was like, you have to impress me if you want me in this truck, right? And that's something you new guys in the spot market will have to deal with. I ain't moving this truck for X amount of dollars per mile, whatever. And that's all fine and dandy, but I've seen it time in and time over and over where someone's sitting at home for 2 days because they won't move their truck, or that's not even worth starting my truck for, blah, blah, blah. You know, and the reality is you lost a couple of days, and this is going to be a perfect example. So I said, look, I'm not really in the mood to work, and what was the exchange? I'll let you know the exchange with this broker. They countered. I asked for 2080. They countered at 2400. Okay. I said, okay, and this is for about like 960 miles, like not even quite 1,000. But the way I go, going around 840, because screw Nashville, um, that adds like a few extra miles. Okay, and I said, okay, I'm holding firm. There's a lot of freight here, and I'm not even sure I want to work this weekend. Let me know if that changes. And he goes, okay, I told him this much. I got him to 27. Now, here's where Steve got stupid. I'm empty now. I will come down to 2,800 to get it off your desk for you. That's what I said. Now, should have been a sale right there, right? And I literally was. I was literally a mile from this shipper. A shipper that I've been in out of 10 years. And my appointment, or the appointment, was at 1 o'clock. And it was like 12 o'clock at this point. So, do need to be at 27 for now. We're charging customer like 2,100. So, got to stop the bleeding at a point. Let me know if you can help. Now, your guys are going to hear that from a broker, right? Number one, it's not my problem if you didn't quote the customer high enough. Okay? Now, is that a cold way of looking at that? Sure. Because if they want to book a load, if they want to put a load on the board for $1.20 a mile, it's not their responsibility that my cost is $1.30 a mile. Do you see what I'm saying? So, whatever their profit margin is, I don't care, because this is what I want. And I could have gone for less. You have two levels. You have what you want and what you need, right? And then what you can when times are tough. And so I'm thinking, okay, I've got some leverage here, right? I've got some leverage here. I'm a mile away. Obviously, no one else is buying at this load. I'm going to get my $3 a mile. 12:30 rolls around. Hey, have you covered that Jacksonville load yet? 1 p.m. appointment, but can be a work until 2:30. So now they're sacrificing customer service because they booked that load too low. Do you see what I'm saying? Meanwhile, during this conversation, I'm checking the load board. I've called, and a lot of brokers were playing that game. The 3 o'clock shuffle was not working for me. And any of you that are about to enter the spot market or have just joined the spot market, when you've made about 10, 15 phone calls, you get frustrated, you get angry, emotional, right? Now, mind you, when I'm parked at this truck stop, this car goes by me. It's hot as hell. The AP is barely keeping up. Been sitting in this truck all morning making phone calls, and nobody's budging, or the times didn't work. There were loads that were 300 miles for 2 days, or they were picking up at midnight, delivering at 5 a.m. the next day. A lot of crap like that. And so I realized I'd hit that point on the load board where everything that was left was crap, or it was a rate that was so low that no one wanted to do it. So I missed my window between 9 and noon. I missed it somewhere, right? So now I was frustrated. My short stuff wasn't coming up. The stuff that I could pick up Friday and just leave out Sunday with was gone. My normal stuff was gone. And if I wanted to work this weekend, that Jacksonville load was the only option. But at this point in time, I was ticked off. And at that point, a car drives right by me, and I see this lady with a needle in her arm. She's shooting up either meth or heroin, and she's driving by with her dude or whatever. And I'm like, I got to get out of this truck stop. I got to get out of here. And because I was fed up with people, I was fed up with the truck, I was fed up with the human race, and I was done. Time to go home. And so I waited, And I said, and I still tried. So I asked him, the customer, made sure it is. Said, I've been running out of there for 10 years. I pretty much know 90% of the shippers out of Springfield, Missouri. So that's my way of telling this broker, hey, you know what? I'm your Springfield guy, and I'm sitting empty in this truck, ready to go this weekend. You just got to pay me, right? And, well, let me know if you make that work. In other words, I had to do him a favor, even though they weren't doing me any favors when they were asking for $1.20 a mile to go into Florida, 3 months ago. So I don't have the best relationship with that particular broker. Now, that particular brokerage, we used to do great. We had a guy that was like, he would have gotten me that 28. Or at least he would have went up to 27.50. At that point, you're arguing about pennies, right? So instead of $3 a mile, it was like, what, $2.95 or $2.96, So, but by that time, my emotions had taken over, and I was done. I was over it. I'm going home. Screw y'all. And I did. I went home, and here I am. I don't have a load book for Monday, and here we are. So, here's the beauty, though. I already met my quota. If I was desperate for the money, or if I had a truck payment due that was like, oh, I don't know if I'll make it, I would have taken that 27. Hell, I might have even taken the 24 had he pushed the issue. And that's where your cost low comes in, because if the broker has leverage, if he knows that you got to move regardless, you get no leverage from that. I had leverage, or so I thought. Now, here's the kicker. That load is still on their app. It was never covered, and I bet you that they pushed the appointment. So now they got to explain to the customer why this isn't being delivered Monday morning. Actually, it was Monday afternoon. That was part of the bad deal of it, why I held on to my money, because it's a 1 o'clock appointment. So pretty much looking for a Tuesday load at that point, because you got to use the remaining of Monday to deadhead out of Florida, right? So here I sit at home, but it hasn't gone yet, Cascade. It hasn't gone. So that's where emotion can really kind of, you got to keep them in check, and what's ironic is a friend of mine called right when all this was going down, and he was like, he had just kind of gone through the same thing. He was having to do a load for a little bit lower than what he normally does it for, but it was a load home. It was literally a load of convenience. He was going home anyways. It was just like, make a quick stop before you go to the house, and so we kind of had to save face, and he was telling me the stories I'm telling what I'm dealing with, and he's like, oh, look, you're stressed out, go home, be with your family, even though I've only been out a week, right? And it was good because we're trying to fix this toilet, and we're able to get a certain far, but now we're beyond our abilities, so we have to hire somebody. But I was glad to be here, and then we had a good talk with my son, who's got to think about his future, and then it gave me some time to reflect, and what I did to get my emotions down is I went for a walk in a hot 100-degree weather in the truck stop with heroin addicts all over the place. I went for a walk, and it cleared my head enough that I'm like, you know what? Obviously, I don't want to work if I'm going to fight this broker over $100. So just go home, Steve. Regroup, refresh, and do something to recharge. Do something that makes you feel good. Go shooting, hang out with the wife. Hang out with friends, whatever. Just get your mind out of it. And that's what I did, so. Red Monkey's in the house. TJ's in the house. Chicago roads. Guys, hope nobody's going around Chicago. They're doing that protest tonight. I'll be listening to Scanner Radio maybe later. Big Houston. Saw that you went live earlier. Red Monkey, what's up? Man, I'm so glad I have a secret agent man do that for me. Thomas Wilson. Yep. Chuck saw something today you can't unsee, LOL. Talk about Michigan. Yep. Yeah, I've seen that before, Chucky. I was in Memphis. I was at one of the many 15,198 stoplights on US 78 there, and I saw something that I didn't want to see. And this guy was mad at it. It was kind of weird. It was brutal. A load of convenience. I never hauled that before. I do it all the time. You got to live in a good freight area. You know, there were times when I was going to deadhead from Kansas City to Springfield, and I look on Uber and there's a load, Kansas City to Springfield. Cool. I'll just go home a few hours later. You know? So, Charles Brand. Yeah, everything is okay. And that's the thing. Now, had I done that load, if I had chosen to do that load for 27 at the original time that he wanted me to, where would I be about right now? I'd probably be pretty close to Valdosta somewhere by now, but then I would have fought back, you know, trying to get back or whatever. But I would have found a way to control my emotions if I would have stayed on that load. You know, that's where music comes in. You know, I really need to clear out some of the junk in my truck so I can start bringing the guitar with me. But, you know, this new position like trucking also has taken a little bit of my free time as well, which is fine. You know, next week we'll try it again. You know, and I hated to put that money on the table. I hated to leave that on the table. But again, that's where emotions come in. And I'm not perfect by no means. None whatsoever. And so one of the most important aspects of being a business owner, I don't care what kind of business it is you have to be in control of your emotions, right? I became way overweight because I could not control my emotions. They came out in overeating, you know. There are a lot of vices out there. Mine was food, you know. And just food and binge watching Netflix. And I found myself doing that a little bit more on the Netflix, you know, lately instead of tending to what I need to be tended to. So, and I think it's a lot of the external stresses that are happening in our world today, you know. So anyways, if you guys got any comments, questions, we don't have to talk about this topic. I can probably give you some tips, but the important thing is finding that balance. And right, Cascade, you told me never to lose a load over $50. When the market's really bad, yeah, $50 is really not worth fighting over. But when rates are the way they are and volumes and things are in your favor, you become a little bit, I got the leverage, right? It's an ego thing. I had a little bit of an ego. I had the confidence that this guy was going to bend to my needs, right? He was going to bow to me, right? I'm the one in control. And he called my bluff. He's like, yeah, screw you. We'll just. Now, if he wasn't able to book it for Monday, I bet, or push the load till Monday, then maybe I would have gotten a 28. Now, if he calls me today and says, hey, that load really needs to go, can you do it? I'll be like, $3,000. You know, but that's because the relationship I have with this particular broker. There are some brokers I wouldn't do that. There were some brokers I would have done that load for $2,400. But you also have to know the challenges that Florida faces, that you face in Florida, as far as getting the freight out of there. And so I really wanted it to get it going in because I didn't know what I was going to have getting out. He would have given it to you if you had, absolutely. Because what's worse, you know, telling the customer you have to charge an extra $100, or, oh, gee, sir, we didn't get that load moved, you know. I had a great live feed tonight. We talked about 80s movies, innocence of growing up in that decade. I love the 80s. Reading comments here. Yoga and martial arts. Yeah, everybody's got their outlets. You know, me is the guitar and the range if I can get it. Jaded, yep. Sometimes you got to throw your hands up and say it's not worth it. You do what you can, and if you're given hassle over a load while sitting in a stock full of acts, they're the ones in the wrong. Alexander, I get what you're saying, you know, and looking back, I don't regret not taking that load, but at the same time, if I have a $3,000 repair next week, I might regret it. So. Guitar tonight? No guitar tonight. You would have taken the 27. I know, Provost. There's a lot that I still have to learn. I am no expert. But, Provost, you live in Florida. So yeah, 2,700 to go home. James gained 40 pounds since becoming a broker. Go figure. It is what it is, right? I hate that saying, but I find myself saying it more and more. Next Gen, what's up? Next Gen says hello, Mrs. Starlord.
Hi.
I'm chewing celery and peanut butter tonight for dinner. God sent you home for a reason, Steve? Well, we'll find out.
So your wife didn't break her back trying to wrestle that toilet off of its thing,
Yeah.
off the floor.
Yeah, you're right, Thomas. Each person must determine their priorities and limits without regret. Norman, I hear you, and that's hard to do as a truck driver. That's hard to do as an owner-operator. If you're a slave to your truck, like, you know...
The locusts don't want to hear your stories.
Yeah. Sorry about for the nature noises. You would think that I would live out in the woods, right? Like I said, I would love to have a new truck, but I can't make the math work because the math says I would have had to take the load when I didn't want to. And so what happens? You get resentment. And everything's jaded, and then that car that cuts you off is magnified times 10. You know, or your safety manager guy is yelling at you because he's ticked off at you because you're doing stupid stuff, right? So it's given part of the spot market game. I've literally done this several times. I've done the point where I'm gonna wait. I shoot, boom, miss it completely. I'm back to the beginning, right? Now I'm taking a crap load that was way worse than what I would take the other one for, right? And that almost happened. I was so frustrated. I was like, you know what? I'll just take something to Tulsa, or I'll take something for a Monday delivery in Oklahoma City, or something like that. Kevin, I got your call right when I started my live feed, so we can chat later if you want. Charles Brent says, hi. I was offered a load that 2,400 to Florida. Would have loaded Tuesday at 5:30 and delivered Thursday at 5:30. I told them I would do it for 3,000. Guess what they gave it to a cheaper carrier? Right, and see, that's where competition comes in. You know, if I had a brand new W9 or 389, we'll say Peterbilt 389, and the guy next, and let's say there was two of these loads, the guy next to me could have taken it for 24 and probably netted more than me if I had the big expensive truck payment and fuel bill, right? So profitability comes in. Spectre's talked about that. Profitability is a huge factor. And so again, lower cost means lower stress and more profitability. And the more profitability you have, your gold, you know. And again, SoCal has said this, right? SoCal has said this. The more successful you are at trucking, the more freedom you have. Look at all these guys with their own authority. They're all sitting at home. Look at these guys with brokerages. They're all sitting at home, right? I'm not sitting at home. Well, I am sitting at home, but I don't have a brokerage. I don't have my own authority. So I got to go back to work Monday, right? Is US 54 an okay route through Missouri for trucks picking up in Hannibal tomorrow heading to Dallas? Yes, 54 is a good road. Sorry, we live near the hospital, so the helicopters go. So are you and the Godfather are two individuals that I listen to and respect because as a 62-year-old rookie, I am learning a new industry with the goal of going from lease op to owner op. Awesome, Norman. I'm glad we can inspire you. Knob Creek Challenge is lonely. One of these days I'm going to have to explain to you the mindset behind the new 389. RD, you don't have to explain it. I know what it's about, right? There's more. You know, you're not thinking about fuel mileage. You're thinking about a truck that you want to pay off and keep for the rest of your life. You're thinking about other things. But I get it. I get the 389. And I don't, dude, I would love to have a W9. I'm a W9 guy, right? And I haven't tossed out the idea of ever owning a W9. I haven't tossed that out. So, I mean, you know, especially when I go to the Joplin Guilty by Association truck show, every year I go, it inspires me more and more to get one of those trucks, right? I'm sitting at the racetrack, says Provost. So I look, I appreciate a good truck, I really do. You know, I got in that W9 that one time I did a live feed from the dealership, but I definitely can't make that math work. There's no way I can have a $3,000 truck note and get 5 miles per gallon and run the same way I do now. Ain't gonna happen. So, anything else you guys want to talk about? I think I've made my point. I appreciate everybody watching. I appreciate everybody put a thumbs up. I'm sure I have a couple of haters who've already put a thumbs down, which is fine. You know, I'm a very blessed man, right? And so that little bit of depression I was getting, that little bit of anger, here's what I did. I had gratitude. I was grateful that I could just put the truck in gear and go home. I was grateful that I had everything caught up as far as my quota and everything. And I was grateful once I was home. And every day that I wake up, I'm grateful to be alive. Wasn't always like that. You have to pay attention and take the situations that become available to you, but you have to prove yourself. Okay, someday I'll have to explain to you why you should do it. Shadow Wolf, put the thumbs up. Thank you, I appreciate that. Fat Pat, what's up? Charles Brandt, treat your wife, $9.99. Thank you, Barry. Charles, what are you going to do with that $10? Actually, $7.
You already brings.
Yep, that she just added rum to, so.
Good.
Positivity rocks. Absolutely, Red Monkey. Red Monkey, let's talk about your, I don't know how you guys with the drones aren't scared when you got it over water like that or over the mountains. Like, I'll be that guy that's got a drone. I've got it like a mile away and it like falls down. That's going to be me, right? Cat's going to knock over the tripod.
No, she didn't. If it was the sister, she would have.
Yeah. But I really enjoyed that video you put up. Red Monkey Trucking, that was in Utah, right? Red Monkey? Very beautiful there. Very beautiful. I kind of miss the Salt Lake runs. So. Yep, TJ. Selena and Dipshit says, did Coach blow up his truck yet? I doubt it. If you do not have some challenges, you can't appreciate the good times, right? And I think that complacency really kind of kicks in too. That's a problem that I've definitely had. I get complacent, and then next thing you know, I'm, wow, I don't know how to work anymore. So that's why I felt a little bit bad about leaving that money on the table. It's like, well, is this complacency, or is this me being pissed off, or you have room for your guitar now? Yeah, that's right. I wish I could say what you're talking about, Kevin, but I will not go there. Reach up there and smash that bug. Charles Brandt, I refuse to watch. The only way I watch TikTok is if you post it on Instagram too. That's it. Because remember, you guys remember Vine? I actually had a Vine for a minute. And I was really starting to invest in Vine, and then it was ripped away. So on that list. There is value to home time, right? The bugs are like one of those relaxing Wire and Storm videos. Jacob Slim, what's up? One time we went camping, and I swear it was the longest night of my life because it was hot, miserable, and it was the noisiest night of my life.
Well, that was one of the times we took the dog too, and he would not stop barking at everything.
Yeah, we didn't know what creatures he was barking at. Yeah, that was not a pleasant camping experience. TikTok is Vine now. I know, Jason, but I gave Vine my dedication once. Never again, right? Paint that windowsill. Yeah. The guy that owns this house won't work to pay for stuff. It's gonna rain tonight at your house? I wouldn't doubt it. Well, when my wife goes camping and stuff, I have an air mattress. Right. Well, they've graduated to that. Air mattresses. Can't quite talk them into a camper yet, but we'll get there, right? We'll get there. Camping presents some challenges with me, tent camping at least, because of the CPAP machine, and it's tough. I think the last time we camped, I actually got my Honda CRV and reclined the seats because that was the only way I could sleep. Who wants to work at home when you rarely get to see it, right? Well, that's the thing. I know guys that have lots of toys, like a big house and lots of toys, and they never see it, you know? And what good is that? You know, you can't take it with all of it. Now, you should be able to enjoy some of it for a while. Thomas Wilson wants me to buy something similar to what Jeffrey Light has. That ain't gonna happen. I don't know, RD. I usually don't spend a whole lot of time out here except in the morning. Let's check the radar just for RD.
It did look like rain earlier when we were driving home. It looked like it could have opened up.
Weather report with Steve. Okay, so that's what we're looking at. So I don't think that storm's going to hit us. It's actually going southwest. That's a weird path. No, we can't, but our kids will enjoy a better life.
Well, you can't spoil them too much, though. On the other hand, you don't want to weaken your children by giving them everything and they don't have to work for anything.
Absolutely, right? I think I want to sell my boat. I've used it once this year, and when I get home, it will be time to winterize it. Yeah, Cascade, because where you live, winter starts like in 3 weeks, and last until like June, right? Yeah, there is. You guys want to see the sunset? There you go. There's the trucks. There you go. Speaking of RVs, I still haven't used mine. It's still in the bar. Well, you know what boat stands for, right, Cascade? Bust out another 1,000. Are you live? I'm in North Platte, Nebraska, heading to Ohio. That's kind of a weird way to get to Ohio. If you were local, you could use your boat more. Nicey, it is kind of nice. I wish there was a little bit of a breeze. But it'd be nice if a storm rolled in here, because then, then it'd be perfect out here.
I think it's supposed to...
She's got the kitty.
Yeah, it's cat time on YouTube. Yeah, YouTube loves cats.
I should get 1,000 hits now.
It's been super hot all week.
Yeah.
And I think starting tonight, we're supposed to have chances of rain every day for another week.
Yeah. I live in Springfield, Missouri, Slim. I live in what Cascade calls freight heaven. You know, I live in the land of them pesky prime drivers. Right? I've met up with Shadow Wolf like a couple of times. I've come across him. Hell, I'm friends with the guy that made his t-shirt. So.
I used to look for Shadow Wolf's old truck every time I went to the Walmart on that side of town near Prime, but I never ran into him. And now I don't know what his new truck looks like.
So, anyways, we're at almost an hour. So, if there's anything else you guys want to talk about, questions, comments, concerns, anything you guys want, man. Anything you guys want. Except for guitar. I'm not playing guitar tonight, Mr. Wilson. I think we're about done. We've lost 20 people, and John says start over. No. I'm sorry, Stormland. I am one of those pesky prime drivers working towards owner operator. Norman, I kid. You know, I have many prime friends. I almost went to prime myself, actually, because I didn't want to pay for CDL school, but I ended up doing it anyways. So I didn't go to the building, the prime building, and then I've got a lot of driver friends, and my truck's the next prime truck. So, so the used truck market around here, especially if you own a want a Freightliner, 2017s and 2018s for sale, look pretty decent shape. You can always tell the prime trucks because of the pinstriping and the graphics that they put on the typical trucks. Where is Jeff? Eddie's been trying to call him. He's probably in a campground somewhere there, John. You never told the lovely Mrs. Hello for me. Yeah, I did.
Yeah, he did, and I said hi back.
Yeah.
But apparently you weren't paying attention, but hi again.
RD doesn't pay attention.
He was one of like 15 people who were paying attention when me and Rowan were showing off that car show.
Oh, okay. All right, Charles, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the kind words. I didn't pay for school.
I didn't know they would let you do that, but that's cool.
Yeah, I pull for Prime and have no issues with them at all, except I ain't going to say. Shadow Wolf, how long have you been at Prime? I mean, you've been at Prime long enough to pay off the truck. Already as old as expected. By the way, I want to apologize for not being as lively as the live feed master that is called James Best. I get home from working, and I am glued to YouTube, and I couldn't look away, and I'm scarred for life because James Best was live. It was only interrupted because I wanted to support my good friend Tail Rider. I went to his live feed for a bit, and then came back to James Best, and then eventually I got over it and went to bed. But I am sorry that I am nowhere near as entertaining as that man is.
No one really can be. I mean,
It's a gift. If you get my CDL through Prime, it was a pain. Asking questions so my 2 trainers learn as much as a 6-year-old man when I started. I may be stopping in your area tomorrow. I'm not sure if I will make it down to I-44, but I'll be in Missouri. If you're going down 54 to 44, you or something. Greetings from Hilliard, Ohio. G-Star. I like that. You're in that truck stop, right? Truck World? Are you there? Is that where you're at? Or are you at the Flying J? I like that truck stop there. Never had the pay one off. There's mine when I set in the set and fired up in the air. And stop the rest off to watch that last live feed, says John. Norman Beck, thank you for the $10. I appreciate it. Off the rails again, hopefully the last time. Daycap Slim, I'm retired from Yellow Freight and bought my own truck. You're wrong, I make 5 times as much a week. Of course, enjoying your videos a lot. I want to go drinking with OTJB, says Ratman. Ratman, you sent me something, but I haven't seen it yet. I would die if I went drinking with James Best. No, you wouldn't, John. Look, I've been drinking with James Best. If you want documentation of that, go into Matt's videos for 2018, Matt's 2018 videos, and you will see James Best at his absolute best. Pun intended.
I mean, if you tried to keep up with him, someone might die.
Yeah.
Don't make it a contest, maybe.
Gonna go drive for Eddie. Awesome, John. So, does that mean you're gonna be working out of the spot market there? James. I wasn't gonna mention that, but geez. You know, that's how you know James Best is an honest guy, because everything.
Showing the sunset now. It's all very...
I don't know how that's going to come across camera.
Oh yeah, it probably won't.
Let's see. Pretty.
Yeah, it's not as good as it is in real life.
There it is. That's really bright and pretty if you guys don't.
It's much more orangey in person.
Yeah, orangey. More orangey. You buying a new house in Hillard? That's a good area. It's a good area for freight. So that's cool, man. I definitely am all about the house stuff. I have in mind that sold his house and loves renting. So there's a few out there like that. I love being a homeowner. Look at that fine KW. That's a good truck, man. It needs some. We're getting close to needing new tires, and I need the wheels polished. But all right, guys, we're at an hour. I appreciate the kind words. Mosquitoes are starting to eat us a little bit, so thank you for the super chats. I hope this has been a positive conversation for you. If I infuriated you, probably have some issues. Send me the measurements and I'll send you new blinds.
Hey, I just remembered I paid for lunch. You did not treat me to those tacos and pineapple water.
Well, that's because I didn't have a super chat then.
Right. So you still need to treat your wife.
Yeah. Almost got away with that. 78 degrees in Springfield, 65 in Calumet, Michigan. UP, I will be back in your area soon. Stay safe. Awesome. Check out Dave's Tire in Wilmington, California. 250 drive tires made with Chinese.
If we ever do get rid of those blinds, you gotta throw them on a bonfire if you can, like, YouTube that, just so everyone can be happy. Like, everyone is so much more invested in those blinds than I am.
See, here's the thing.
It's kind of weird that your friends worry this much about the appearance of my house.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the story with blinds. When you own cats and kids, it's a waste of money to change them out. So, but now the cats, well, they're still morons, but the kids have kind of gotten away from destroying the blinds. So maybe this might be a year that we change them, just because either that or get a green screen right here, right?
I need to wait another 5 just to spite everybody. Just because it's bothering y'all, I'm leaving them up.
GNC, Walmart right now has stand-up. And if they're that bad, and Lowe's had like a bunch of them. Day cab. Later, everyone, working on a racetrack video. Awesome, Provost. Guys, I appreciate this video. We need to end it. So thanks for the super chat. Thanks for allowing me to speak to you and with you.
And acknowledging the wife.
And acknowledging my lovely wife. And it's tough. I know. Together we'll get through it. All right? See ya.
Wooden blinds. That's an interesting.